when I walked in, like, you were one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen.
It, Nick.
And I told Taylor that the first few days.
Really?
I was like, yeah, I think you're super attractive and beautiful.
You just make me blush.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, it's your girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 21. Let's get right into the video because production really gagged alive. Production gagged alive. Because what was this entire episode? So, Nick and Olandria got dumped from the villa. Keyword, from the villa. So, everybody's sad. The girls at Casamore are crying for, Olandria. The guys are upset that Nick is gone. Ace and Taylor basically reminiscing about the whole Nick being their, A1, day one dude. Ace cried for Nick. It was that serious, that deep. He was kind of upset that Jaden kind of didn't pick him because it's kind of crazy that didn't happen. So while this is happening, production gagged alive. Live has never been gagged. Andrew pulled up to this candlelit little dinner date situation. So first things first, okay, he pulls out a chair for Olandria. Olandria spilled the beans. She said, "This is what happened at Casamore. Sierra is coupled up with Elon. He's basically like a twin, your little twin right here. And then Shelly, she got her 6'7" dude, a 6'7" basketball player, okay? And he's like, oh, Ace got competition. You said 6'7"? Oh, okay. So, spilling the beans. Nick, he basically spilling the beans to, Olandria, basically about Taylor. He was coupled up with Clark first, but Clark, in the recoupling, decided to pick Taylor. So Taylor and, Clark are getting to know each other and da-da-da. So Andrea, she started getting, a little upset. She's like, if her man can get taken down easily, she was never her man to begin with. But me, I've been telling you this. My sister in Christ. I've been telling you, Taylor is not your man. He is not your man. He is not your man. He's not your man. I've been saying this from jump. He is not your man. And it's very clear in this episode. So while this is happening, and one thing about Nick is so wishy-washy. You think he's gonna be loyal to his guy, blah blah blah. The real test really is if he's loyal to Ace, because he was supposed to be Jeremiah's so-called friend. Nah, he then snitched on Taylor. He's full transparency. Nah. But the real test is if he ever try to play in Ace's face. So anyhow, they get a text, and the text was, you either can be single and basically leave the villa for good, leave the island for good, or you can couple up together and walk back into the villa.
I kind of always wanted to let you know I was into you, but
really?
Never had those conversations with time.
Nick, what the fuck?
Almost
Nick.
to the villa. Almost to the villa.
Nick, what the fuck is going on?
Fun first date, yeah.
Oh my god, Nick, what the fuck?
It's tough fighting the real.
So I'm just okay, they walk in together at a couple, but everybody else is asleep. So they go into the bed, sleep together in the bed. Nobody knows in the villa that they're back. So anyways, back at Casamore, the girls wake up crying, Shelly and Huda still crying over Olandria being gone. My thing is, they could have had them sequestered, hide away, whatever. Let the dramatic entrance be a dramatic entrance for both parties. The fact that the girls are out of the loop is crazy because it's just they don't know anything that's going on, And the fact that Olandria can basically speak to the guys and tell the guys, what's going on in Castle, from what she's seen for the first day and so, why? She shouldn't have been able to do that. No shade, no tea to her, but, that they let them do what they're supposed to do without okay, Olandria spilling the beans, Olandria still in the villa while Taylor getting to know Clark, they could have been sequestered. It could have been a dramatic entrance. But anyway, she's back. The castle girls are oh my gosh, you're back, da da da. Now Taylor and Clark, they had a kiss outside of the challenge. So we're just whoa, you having kisses outside of challenges. So they were okay, how are you gonna approach Olandria if she ever pulls you for a chat or whatever? So they're just be upfront about the kiss, da 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 da, whatever. So then Nick, he basically tells Taylor, like, you know, I'm coupled up with Olandria. He actually wants to get to know Olandria. He's been saying, like, hey to her on that little date, like, he, you know, has chemistry with her, you know, they were like pulling each other for these kissing challenges or whatever, but he never pulled her. But I'm just like, I guess because he was so caught up with Belladasha and Sierra, but I'm just like, even after all that, he could have just been like, you know, said what he had to say. But production, you know, they gave the fan service. They said this is the only way he's probably gonna be able to talk to her if they put them coupled up together. Da 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 da. So this is what they have. They have Nicolandria, you know, up together. So anyways, Nick actually basically says that he does actually really like her, basically giving her like all the good things, like calling her beautiful, whatever. Like, he really likes, you know, Olandria. He's been saying this like in his, you know, confessionals all the time, so it's nothing, you know, new, nothing crazy. So anyhow, but you got Olandria over here talking about Taylor's her man, because Taylor, he's talking to Ace and the guys, and he's basically saying, like, you know, when should he talk to Olandria about like his situation with Clark. So Ace is like, you know, speak to her right now, but he's like, oh, she's eating, like, dude, just speak to her right now. Anyways, he speaks to her, pulls her to the fire pit, says that he's getting to know Clark, but he still wants to get to know Olandria, because they have like a little foundation. They were friends first, and now they, you know, have that physical situation going on. But I'm just like, girl, that is not your man. Like, just move on. you got Nick over here trying to, you know, speak to you. Like, let's see what that goes, okay? So anyhow, he just basically like, he's in a pickle, he's like in a triangle, so I guess she's allowing that. But I'm just like, all right, Olandria. So anyhow, back at the Casa Amor, you know, Elon, he wants to, like, you know, go a little further with Sierra, but Sierra's like, nah. And then you got Chris over here trying to romance Shelly, basically giving her flowers, basically asking her, like, you know, what do you do when you're sad, da 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 da. You got Sierra over here hyping up that situation, basically saying like she likes, you know, Chris for Shelly, da 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 da. So Olandria, I guess, tells Nick about, you know, Chris, and Nick tells Ace about Chris, basically saying like, you know, 6'7", and he's like, I don't care about no 6'7", da 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 da. That's what he's saying. So anyway, they get to their like own version of raunchy races, because obviously the Casa Amor Villa is basically still sad because they don't know Nick has been dumped, Olandria's been dumped, but they're back together in a couple at the villa. Like, they don't know what's going to transpire, you know. The villa is happy now because they got everybody back. Like, no need to cry anymore. Casa Amor, they don't know what's going on. So, Aliven up the villa, they basically said, okay, we're gonna have this like type of little challenge, basically their version of, you know, raunchy races. So you got Shelly being hype man, Ace being hype man, like literally ringleader, and, you know, the most competitive girl in the villa, like really match made in heaven, like literally. So they had their little situation going on, and it was like, you know, Casa, you know, winning all these points. There was like a question where it was like, kiss, you know, the tallest guy kissed their partner, and obviously it was Chris who kissed Shelly. So they won that point. So everybody was like, oh, you know who that is. You know who that is. Pepe had to rub salt in the wound, like, oh, that's, you know, Chris over there, you know. And then Laundry's like, oh, you know Shelly's a good kisser, da da da, you know that.
Fuck, the winner of that round was Casa Amor.
What? That's bullshit! We know who it is, we know who it is!
Shelly's a good kisser, you know that.
Chris must have been going hard.
You're a mess.
Not the name drop.
And then the thing is that Olandria had to see Clark and Taylor kissing in the challenge, which I'm just like, she really feels like the odd one out, because she's really not supposed to be there during Casa Amor. Like, she really needed to be back in with her girlies. I don't know why they did this dumping, but I guess to put Nicolandria together. So it's just like, okay, fan service really winning, but at the cost of what? So after the challenge, you got Taylor and Clark having their little one-on-one again outside of a challenge. They're kissing again outside of the challenge. He's giving her his flannel and all that, you know, basically feeling like a little bit loved up. They feel a little loved up, everything, you know, kissing outside of challenges. He was giving kisses that was not peck kisses like he was giving Olandria. Now Olandria, she gets pulled by Nick to soul ties. And Nick is basically saying, like, you know, yeah, let's see, like, where this goes outside of challenges. Like, let's see. So he basically, her and him have, like, you know, very passionate kiss. Like, very, very passionate. Very, very passionate. My makeup is all over your face.
I love it. Just keep it there.
They were kissing. Anyhow, you know, while this is happening, camera pans back to Casa more, where Sierra basically kind of like keeps her boundaries with Elon, basically like saying like her head is scrambled. She just really hopes that, you know, Nick is not kissing some other girl outside of challenges during Casa more, which is like, when you find out, Sierra, that your boy is kissing your homegirl, the lie will be gagged for real. People's crying over Olandria being dumped, and now Olandria's over here kissing Nick outside of challenges, and you know, you over here worrying about him. Like, when you find out, like, this is gonna be so messy. And producers, what were you thinking doing this? Like, what were you thinking? Because it's like, whoa, like, when you find out it's not just some random girl from Casamore, it's your home girl that's over here, you know, trying to see where, you know, her and Nick can go. But really and truly, I don't feel like Olandria's really over Taylor. But I'm like, Taylor's over Olandria. Like, let that be clear and known. Like, it's been known from day one. But I'm like, I don't know what's going to take for Olandria to realize that Taylor's not her man. So Casamore is coming to an end tonight. By tomorrow's episode, they're gonna get that text to, like, I don't know if they're gonna stick with their couple from Casa, if that's how they're gonna do it, or, you know, go back to the original couple that they, you know, before they got singled. I don't know. But all the people from Casa is coming to the villa, so they're gonna see in the flesh who they really working with, okay, and like what's going on, because the girls really are out of the loop. I don't know whose bright idea was it for them to be out of the loop like this. But like I said, they should have had them sequestered. They should have had them brought in during Casamore recoupling situation, because that's very messy of them doing that. But that was episode 21. They gagged alive. Nicolandria's up, and fans are being serviced. So if you guys like the video, comment down below. You know if that's concerned. You know, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.